In this video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial from my group on how to cut this stylish dress with slight basque. So if this is something you like, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button. So in this video, we are going to be working on this requested tutorial. So the first thing is you need to get the full length of your dress. So let's say the full length of this dress now is 35. Now the first step we're going to take is to cut the upper part. So you have to take your shoulder to waistline measurement. So for my shoulder to waistline measurement is 17 inches. So let's say this is 35 inches now, and we are taking away 17 inches. What you have left is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18. So you have 18 inches left for the gathers. So for the gathers area, you need to use about 3 yards to 4 to get this gathers effect. Now looking at this dress, you notice that there's a little basque on it. So this basque on it is not the length of the basque is not included in the total measurement of the dress. That is, after getting your full dress length 13 inches minus your waist measurement, and get what you use for the basque. Now after getting your waistline measurement, you add extra 3 inches for this basque, or 2 inches. And if you notice, the basque is just on this part of the dress. So without much wasting time, let's go ahead to draft out the rest of the pattern. So we have gotten how to get we have gotten the lower part of this dress, which is the gathered area, how to get that part. So we are going to draft the upper part, which is my shoulder. You're going to mark your shoulder divided by 2, come down by 1 inch, and you're going to go ahead to draw your shoulder slope or shoulder slant and connect. Go ahead to find your chest line, which is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Now you're going to draw out a straight line on that line. So before I go into the tutorial, I'll go ahead to outline the part that we're using for this pattern. So for this pattern, we're using our bust, under bust, and waistline. So the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead, whatever I have on the shoulder is what I will mark here, giving me 7 inches, and I'll go ahead to draw out, connect, and I will draw a straight line. So now I will divide what I have here into 2 this way, and I will mark. So come out by ½ inch here. Go ahead to mark my bust circumference divided by 4, which gives me 8.3, and I'll go ahead to connect from here to this ½ inch, and from this ½ inch I'm going to connect all the way down. So I'll go in with my marker to outline to make this visible for you to see. So after I'm done marking that, the next step you need to take is to mark your dart. I'll start by marking my nipple to nipple divided by 2. So my nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5 inches, which I'll go ahead to mark, and I'll be connecting a straight line at that point. So I'll place my ruler now, and I'll connect. So you also want to determine where you want your pattern to stop, or your bustier. So I'm using 1.5, which is not a standard, but if you notice what we have there is a bit low, so you can use 2 inches or more if you want yours to be well covered. So I'm just going to draw out a straight line, and after this I'll be taking my dart intake. So at the under bust, I'll be marking 1 inch on both sides. So if you're plus size, go ahead to use 1.5 inches, or if you're a big busty, go ahead to use 1.5 inches. So now I'll extend this dart leg to the lower part and mark 1 inch, because remember we are going to draw out our little basque effect at the lower part of this dress. So after this, I'll just go ahead to connect this, and I'll be placing my ruler to connect from the bust down to the under bust of this pattern. And after that, I'll go in with my marker, and I'm going to go ahead to outline this pattern to make it more visible for you to see. So now for this pattern, what we are going to do is, on the upper part, we are going to be taking our dart intake. So to avoid gaping because of the type of neckline or style line we have, I'll just use ½ inch on both sides, and I will connect and also connect at this point. So I'll just go ahead and use my marker to outline this. So after I'm done marking this, the next step I'll take is to go ahead to mark my bust circumference divided by 4, and I will mark. Go ahead to measure this dart intake, which is 1 inch, and add my sewing allowance. So for this pattern right now, what I will do is to go ahead to mark my under bust. My under bust is 28 divided by 4. I have 7 inches, and I'll measure these 2 inches that intake, replace and add my sewing allowance. Here I'm going to mark my waist circumference, which is the same thing as my waist. I measure the 2 inches that intake, replace and add my sewing allowance. You want to go ahead to connect your pattern. So after connecting your pattern, take this all the way straight down. Now you're going to blend in this part of your pattern, because you have like a little basque on this area. So this is how you're going to draft it out. And now on the neckline, on this point I'll go in and measure about 3.5 inches, which I'll go ahead to connect all the way going down to the armhole this way, and I'll blend here in. So whatever you have here should extend to the armhole. So I'll measure about 1.5 inches and I'll mark. So I'll take this 1.5 inches going all the way to the side of the pattern. So this will now complete the armhole area of the dress, just as we have seen on the dress here. So you now go ahead to take this all the way down. So you notice on this dress also is like a backless dress. So you want to complete the neckline or whatever that will extend the back of the dress. So now I'm going to be using this pattern paper. So let's say this is what you have here. So for your neckline extension, at least you should use up to like 3 inches, 3.5 to 4 inches for the extension for any back neckline. So let's say here is the 3.5 to 4 inches for the extension. You're going to be attaching this to the back of the dress or to the sleeve part of this dress whenever you're cutting out the dress. So after cutting out, this is what you're going to have on your dress. Now I'll go ahead to cut this out. So if you have any question, please go ahead to also ask if you have any question concerning this pattern. So I'll just go ahead to cut this out. And remember, whatever you're cutting should be on fold also. So I'll keep this aside and then go ahead to cut this side of my pattern, and after that we'll be cutting out the back. So for the back, we're going to make it a dartless pattern so that it's going to be easy, and probably it's going to have a lacing at the back of the dress. So after cutting this is what I have for this dress. This is what I have, and we'll be moving over to the back pattern of this dress. This is what I have. So what I'm going to do next is to go ahead to insert my measurement. So I've marked out all my basic measurement just like we did for the front. So you're going to mark your shoulder to waistline, right? That is your shoulder to waistline for the back. So, and get your chest line just like we did for the front. All you're going to do right here now is to go ahead to insert your measurement. So you're going to mark your bust circumference divided by 4 here, and you add your sewing allowance. At the waistline, go ahead to mark your waist circumference divided by 4, and also add your sewing allowance. And I'll go ahead to connect. So this is what we have for the back. So for the back, you're going to decide whether you want to add a lacing to it or a zipper. So if you're going to add a zipper to it, you're going to add about 1.5 inches to this. But looking at how the dress looks like, it's as if you have a lacing at the back. So you can use about 2 inches or 1.5. Then you draw out a straight line which you're going to be cutting out for the lacing area of this dress. So this is the back pattern, and remember, for the lower part which has the gathers, you're going to be adding a zipper to it.